What's going on, guys? I'm MD Creekmore. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video topic is going to be the poor man's survival kit. But first, if you're new here and you want to learn how to live better, live cheaper, and survive when things get tough, be sure to subscribe and turn notifications to be notified each time I upload a new video. If you all watched my video from a few months ago, I'll link to that up here in the card or down below in the description. You can check it out if you haven't watched it yet. If you watched that video, you'll remember I talked about my life and how I was raised. And how I was raised dirt poor. How I was raised where I was a lot of times in my life, I was homeless, living in cars, living in tents, having to cook outside an open fire, no electricity, no running water, just well, homeless. And like I said in that video, it wasn't my mom's fault. My mom worked, she tried, done the best she could. My dad was an alcoholic, and that made it even harder to make it. But a lot of times in my life, growing up, I was homeless, living in a car, living in a tent, living in old shacks. But I'm not telling you all this, wanting any sympathy or anything like that. I'm telling you this because it pertains to the topic of today's video, which is the poor man's survival kit. I wouldn't change the way I was raised. It was hard on my mom because she was working, she wanted the best for her kids, and it's hard on her, and I would change that part to make it easier on her. But just for me, if I could go back and be raised rich, have everything I wanted handed to me, I wouldn't want that because it wouldn't make me who I am today. More than likely, if I was raised that way, I'd have been a spoiled little punk, and today I'd have been a spoiled man. And I'm glad it wasn't that way. I'm glad that I was raised dirt poor. I'm glad that I was homeless. I'm glad I lived in cars. I'm glad I lived in the tents. I'm glad I cooked on the open fire outside. I'm glad we had no electricity, no running water. The way I lived then, growing up, for a large part of my life, till I was like 17, 18 years old growing up, I lived this way probably 60% of the time. But I wouldn't change it all. It made me who I am today. But if a lot of people today had to live like I did then, it would be considered to them the shit hits the fan, or the end of the world as we know it to them. A lot of people that lived the way I did was all of a sudden they became homeless, had to live in their car, and had to cook outside, no electricity, no running water, no bathroom. A lot of people would be so depressed that they would probably go out and shoot themselves in the head if they still had a gun to shoot themselves with. But me, like I said, it's rough on my mom, but for me personally, if I could go back and change any of it, I wouldn't change it for me personally because it made me who I am today. But anyway, when I was a teenager growing up, like I said, living in cars and tents and things, I became interested in outdoor survival and bushcraft. I would go to the local library and I would check out books at the local library because I get those for free. I couldn't afford to buy any books, but I'd check those out at the library and I would read those books and study what I could find out about outdoor survival and bushcraft. That got me interested in the topic. And the more I'd read, the more I was interested in the topic. I really liked the topic and really loved the idea of being able to go out on your own and go into the forest and finding what you need to survive. Because of one thing I think is because I was poor, we had to live like that a lot anyway. And I want to learn more about it because I didn't know my life was going to ever change. So I studied, I learned out of those books. But one thing in all those books that I would check out the library had in common is that they would show these nice, expensive survival kits and knives. Even back then, I mean, they would show nice knives, nice backpacks, nice butt packs, and just real nice equipment and really nice everything. And I wanted that equipment for my own personal outdoor survival kit. But being poor, I couldn't afford that. I couldn't afford it. They wouldn't know I could afford that stuff. I mean, I couldn't afford to lay down $250 for a knife. You know, I had to make do with what I had and what I could get really cheaply. And I did a lot of odd jobs, and like I would work for a local farmer getting in his hay, and it was hot, it was exhausting work, it's the middle of summertime, the sun beaming down. If I had to do it now, like I said, I was like 14, 15 years old then. If I had to do that now at 47 years old, I would die. I don't think I could do it now. It was a job that wore me out then. I can imagine trying to do it now at my age. I could get in the hay, but I had to pace myself and do it at my own pace and my own time. I couldn't have nobody pushing me to get it all in that day like I did then. But then I could do it, and I would go to the neighbor's house and rake leaves, pick up sticks, mow with their mower, and get paid all I could. And I managed to actually save enough money by doing odd jobs and I would also go to the forest too, and I would dig golden seal and ginseng and sell that too. And I saved enough money doing odd jobs, digging ginseng, digging golden seal root and selling that. I saved enough money to buy a Remington nylon 66, and that was my main outdoors rifle. It was an excellent rifle, and I loved that rifle. Wish I had it back. I ended up selling it or trading it. I don't remember exactly, to be honest about it, but I mean, I know I don't have it now, and I traded it off or sold it or something. I don't remember what I sold it for. Traded it for probably another gun that I thought I would like better, but the 966 is a really good gun. I took it with me when I go on my outings. Well, when I was a teenager, like I said, I was interested in outdoor survival, and I'd put together my own kit. We'll talk about the kit in a minute. This kit is bare bones minimum. That's why I call it the poor man's survival kit. But I would go, when I was a teenager, I would go in the woods and just stay for 3 or 4 days at a time, living off of cattail roots, acorns, squirrels I would take with the nylon 66, rabbits that I would snare or take with deadfalls I learned how to make. It was very interesting, and it was a good education, and it was, actually my life was actually pretty interesting. I mean, a lot of kids nowadays think that would be awful, but to me, if I look back on it, I was actually fairly happy. I said it because I really, at the time, I didn't really know any better, because I was never raised like with a silver spoon or gold spoon in my mouth. I was raised with a plastic fork or spork in my mouth, pretty much, you know. But I wouldn't take it back. Like I said, it made me who I am today, and it made me learn the skills I am today. And I think it's one reason that I'm a prepper now. But anyway, we'll take this camera to a different location where I can lay my stuff out on the table, and we'll talk more about this kit and show you what's in it, so you can put one together yourself. Okay guys, this is the basic kit right here that you're looking at. You can see this is a tin can. It's actually a coffee can, and you can see I drilled holes in this, and I would add a wire through here and tie it off so you could hang it up, or so you could make it easy to carry. Plus it makes it easy to hang up, like to put it over top of a fire to boil water and to cook in. And actually your survival kit, the main bulk of the survival kit, is inside the cans, you can see. And it's really handy because, like I said, you have you drill your holes through and put your wire through. Then this wire is good as a handle to carry this thing, and it's good to hang up over top of an open fire to cook with or boil water with and stuff like that. And you can see I had a roll of black tape. This is good for a lot of different purposes. As you can imagine, it's good for sealing up wounds if you need to. It's good for all kinds of different things. I don't get into all that stuff today, what all this stuff will be used for, because different situations call for different things and substitutions, so I couldn't cover everything no way of what it could possibly be used for. But anyway, roll of black electrical tape. I was carrying this kit, and I had a small flashlight, not this flashlight, of course, when I was a teenager, but it was a small flashlight like this that I carried in the kit. And I would carry a roll of fishing line. This is 12 pound. I can't remember the exact test I had then, but this is 12 pound fishing line here, and I carried a small roll of fishing line in my kit. And I also carried several bandages. These are 4 bandages in here, and 2 Advil and 2 Tylenol, and I always carry with me just in case. That's my basic first aid kit, pretty much, that and this. And a 2-foot piece of saran wrap, and we carry matches inside of a old medicine bottle, as you can see. Keep them dry. Couldn't afford the expensive waterproof matches, so I had to get regular matches, put in a bottle like this. And in another Ziploc bag, I cut the strikers off of the match box that the matches came from, and I would carry some fish hooks, some sinkers, and some safety pins, or split shot. We call them sinkers here, but they're called split shot also. I would also carry, this is one of the main things that's really handy. This is a 55-gallon heavy-duty contractor's bags. These are excellent to cut open and make shelter. You can put these You can make a wooden frame shelter, put this over top of your wood frame shelter, and then take other material you can find in the woods, like other sticks and stuff, put over top of the shelter. This will keep you good and dry, and the other stuff on top will keep it from blowing away in the wind and things. So it's really handy. You can also take this thing and open it up, cut a hole in the top, and cut a hole in the top, put it over your head, and make a pretty good poncho. Also in this Poor Man Survival Kit, to keep a 2 foot of aluminum foil. Also, that's good for cooking and things on that. And I keep a small butane lighter and extra batteries for the light. And that's pretty much the basis of the kit. For knives, I would carry this in my pocket as a Swiss Army knife. I would always carry in my pocket. Swiss Army knife is awesome. And I would carry not this exact knife. There's one just like this one though, but not this knife. Swiss Army knife. And I would also carry in the other pocket a small bag of 22 ammo for the nylon 66 rifle. And on my belt, I would carry a machete. Not one of the big main large machetes, but I like the smaller machetes such as this, where you can tell this one has been beat up and it's been used a lot. This one has. It needs to be cleaned and repainted, but I carry a machete like this for cutting down larger things and doing splitting wood and stuff like that. And this whole kit that you're looking at here, if you had to buy everything new, this whole kit right now would cost probably the most expensive thing is this right here and this. The most expensive parts of this kit. But this whole kit, you can buy this whole kit for, counting the knives and the light and everything, for under $40. If you have a lot of this stuff already, you know, most people's going to have 22 ammo, you're going to have some fishing line, you're going to have some lighters, you're going to have aluminum foil, you're going to have an old metal coffee can, some wire, and you're going to have some bags, and most of this stuff's already things that people already have. But anyway, this is my Poor Man's Survival Kit, and this is pretty much the exact kit that I would carry in the woods when I was a teenager, going on my outdoor trips for 3 or 4 days at a time, and never had any issues. Excellent kit, and all this stuff has multiple uses, or most of the stuff has multiple uses. Like I said, I tried to replicate the kit, the Poor Man's Survival Kit that I put together when I was a poor teenager. I'm still poor, but I'm not a teenager anymore. I have a little bit more money now than I did then, and I have a little bit more better gear now than I did then. But this right here is good. It covers pretty much everything, and I mean, you can add some more stuff to it, of course, but everything will fit in this can, all besides your machete and your knife and your ammo. And this will go in the pocket. This will go in the other pocket. And this will go in the belt. You can have everything else in the can, which you can carry. This can is this is a new can, and never been used. But when you start cooking in this and boiling water in this can, then it will blacken up and it won't stand out nearly as much as it does like this. It's a new can, it's all real shiny and everything. If you start cooking with this, it'll turn black, and you won't be able to see it as well if you're trying to hide or something like that. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Feel free to leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the video and give me your thoughts. If you haven't subscribed already, then be sure to subscribe and turn notifications to be notified time to upload a new video. Also, if you want to take your prepping to the next level, be sure to check out my Bulletproof Survivor CD-ROM. I'll put a link in the description below, and you can check that out. It has thousands and thousands of pages of information that covers everything that you need to know about homesteading, prepping, and survival. Be sure to check it out in the description box below. The next time, I'm New Creekmore, signing off. Take care of yourself now. Stay safe.